All right, this is part 3 of our Tampa side of the peninsula for April 20th of 2020 supercells in Central Florida. We are tracking a cell now. We're about a half hour after part 2. We jumped ahead a little bit. And you notice we don't have prob severe on here because the real time right now is 1954, and prob severe is only an hour-long loop, so it purges after an hour. So we're not going to have that to help us out. So we're watching this Avon Park area. Sebring observation right there is gusted to 20 out of the west-southwest prior to the thunderstorms arriving. And we do have a pretty significant inflow notch here, so that's something we need to keep an eye on. So I'm going to shoot a cross section through there once again, right through the inflow notch. We're searching to see if we've got a weak echo region or a bounded weak echo region, and there she is right there. So there's our inflow notch in the flat along the surface. More unstable air, warmer, unstable air is being drawn into the cell, so that builds the strength of the updraft, and the updraft encounters precip loaded downdraft right there as it's coming in. It's got to go somewhere. It goes up. So keep feeding that updraft, and we got this kind of overhang shelf here. That's a weak echo region. This is your weak echo region, and if it proceeds any further, it gets bounded, then you start seeing this part of the downdraft descending towards the surface, and you get that kind of cane shape to it. Right now, we don't really have that, but we got a decent, real good weir signature, which is still considered a severe. Now, weir and B-weirs aren't necessarily tornadic indicators or signatures, but you frequently see them with tornadic storms, but that doesn't always classify a storm as being tornadic if it's got a B-weir. Let's do the 3D GR2 analyst has got this nice volumetric section, like a cross section, only 3D. And we can see there's our rear flank downdraft right there. There's our weak echo region right up in here in the three dimensions. One of the cardinal rules for cross sections, watch for 50 dBZs reaching 27,000 feet. There's 50 right on the nose right there. And it's up to about 25,000. So that red line's minus 20 altitude. So that's your glaciation level. Yellow line is your freezing level, and so web bulb 0 should be down below that somewhere. We don't have the numbers on that today, but you could probably easily convince to be watching for some hail activity out of these cells today. But there's 56, not much going on there, barely making it to the freezing level, so it might be making the circuit and building some. We'll see if we get any hail reports out of this, but primarily we want to see this thing as it goes through our location there at Sebring and Avon Park. So stepping ahead a couple of frames, still nothing really to look for or satisfying our mesocyclone velocity threshold on SRV. But let's see if we can run another storm motion. I'm going to right click, place a marker on the backside here. Seems like this edge stays pretty coherent. We can use that. I'm just going to park my cursor up there on the previous volume scan button. Don't press it yet. Get your eyeballs back down here on your spot. We're going to track that relative same relative spot back in time. 2, 3. That ought to be good. 3 or 4 frames is usually pretty good. We're going to right click right there and set storm motion 33 knots. So sorry about that. Still got my volume section turned on. I meant to pan there a little bit. And let's get back up to our time frame. It's 35 after, I believe, on that proc time. There we go. And really not seeing a good circulation pattern. We got some inbounds and some outbounds, but they're pretty weak barely into the double digits at the lowest cut there. We're at 0.5. Let's see if anything changes as we go up. It gets a little brighter there for about 1 elevation angle, but not anything really to be concerned with yet rotation-wise. Back to our hail situation. Let's see if we got any storm top divergence. We got some strong, well, it looks like strong outbounds there, but no real good inbounds to go along with it. So all outbounds. So no storm top divergence at this point. Some good values in there, but still not enough. All right, let's get back down to the surface or the lowest cut. And as we're bringing in, we'll bump it ahead a couple frames here. And we're getting some crazy looking inflow there. Keep an eye on it. Let's shoot another volume section over the Avon Park area here. See how it looks. There's 50, that's 56 dBz. That's your large hail. So it's grown. It's more involved now. It's up pushing 20,000 feet. So back up to the glaciation level. And there's our 50 dBz threshold. So we've made our empirical rule for severe, getting our precip core of at least 50 DBZs up to 27,000 feet. So that's another severe signature empirical rule for that. We still got our weak echo region there. Kind of see our shelf right in there. So still severe in that respect. We'll punch this off. Not a lot of good rotation return yet. So it's kind of like a bow echo now, maybe with a bookend vortice, mesoscale convective vortex up on the north end there. But that's not really looking like it's got a lot of rotation in it either, right in through here. So let's see if let's track this again as it's coming in. Let me put a marker on it, see if our speed changes at all. I'll back it up. Remember, just parking our cursor here and getting our eyeballs back on our red dot, because we're going to use that same relative spot. Pick our next point and star motion from marker. So up to 39 knots. Still nothing really exciting there in the way of rotation. So should be okay as far as not seeing any kind of tornadoes drop out of this right now. So National Weather Service not warning on this cell as well. Still only 20 knots-ish at Sebring. But we can see it as it's coming through. Winds are kind of backing now. Veering to the right. So heavy showers with thunderstorms and 22 knots. As it's coming through, boom, it drops a report of 48 miles per hour. So that's about 43, 44 knots, 43 knots. At that was at 1915. So a couple minutes before the frame we're looking at here. It looks like we might have lost it. We did lose a volume scan or two. So we're dead in the water then. But still pretty active on prob severe, still pushing 65 on the winds. So we'll see if we get any more reports out of this. So it is kind of looking like a bow echo on a small scale, and it's traveling pretty good. We're getting good storm motion out of it and high prob wind. Kind of slides to the north, so we don't get Okeechobee's not gonna get impacted. So what else we got going on here? That's about it. Switch back over to Melbourne. It's a lot here over the Gulf, still threatening the coastline there with a marine warning.